stock market is up very, very big today. We've set new records, and I think they'll be continued to set. The tax cuts are really kicking in far beyond what anyone thought. Numerous companies have today come out and announced that they're going to make big payments to their employees, something that nobody really had in mind.
But can you run on that? President Trump ticking off some of the great economic news we've had before taking off for a weekend at Camp David with his cabinet and Republican leaders to plan strategy for the coming year and, of course, the November midterm elections. Here now to react is Steve Forbes, Forbes media chairman. And Steve, we put together a list, and it actually had to go on 3 full screens because there's so many good things that have been happening with the economy over the past year. First of all, as the president mentioned, the stock market, $7.1 trillion in new wealth created. Hourly wages finally growing. GDP's on track for 3% economic growth. We can go on. The GDP, of course, is up 4.1% civilian unemployment rate. It's the lowest since 2000. Black unemployment rate falling to record lows. Total number of food stamp recipients fall by 2 million last year. That's very good news on its own. Federal spending as a share of GDP falling. U.S. manufacturing boom. 90 companies granted or promised bonuses based on tax cuts. And, of course, the Federal Registry of Regulations just virtually cut dramatically. I don't think we've ever seen a cut like that. Can Republicans run on this, claim that were it not for Republicans in the House and in the presidency, these great things wouldn't have happened?
Yeah, the key thing is how they do it. Good economy helps, and they've got to learn how to do that. As for saying on regulation Federal Registry pages, we understand what they're saying. They've got to come up with analogies like a burden on your back or carrying a 50-pound pack. Now it's 10 pounds for small businesses. If they do that proper messaging, which they didn't do in the last year, then they have something to run on. People think the Republicans messed up because of the health care debacle. They see the wars the president has continuously in these tweet wars, so they don't recognize that things really are starting to move in the right direction. Of course, the media is not going to mention that.
No. Well, the media will do just the opposite and focus on little things that may go wrong that pale in comparison to the big things that go right. But the fact is that this president, as great as he is in making speeches to his favorite people, to his base, he didn't go out as much as you suggested he should and sell things like the tax bill. It did pass just by a whisper, but he didn't sell it as much as you were advising him to do so. Do you think he'll be able to sell these achievements for the November elections?
The key is going to be what he does in the State of the Union address, where literally tens of millions of people will be watching. If he lays it out, here's what's been done despite all the noise you hear out there. Serious things have been done. We're winning the Super Bowl of achievement in terms of the economy, getting back into the big leagues again, and then laying out here's what we're going to do next year if people come together, and I'm willing to talk to people, willing to do deals. I think the American people say, hey, something is going on here despite all the circus-like atmosphere they have in Washington.
Well, meanwhile, Democrats are running, of course, for November as well. And the question is, what are they going to run on other than being against Donald Trump? We had this extraordinary tweet by the deputy DNC chair, Keith Ellison, came out yesterday in which he was actually advocating Antifa, which is a radical organization that promotes violence against its opponents, its political opponents. There's the deputy chair of the DNC. Is that what they're going to run on?
They're just going to run on saying we're not Donald Trump, he's terrible to women, and we need something different. We want to impeach him. And this is where, again, the President of the State of the Union, prime opportunity to lay out the agenda as he sees it, get through the mainstream media, and also during the course of the year, they've got to come up with a better social media strategy, a consistent one, where they each day get the message out to key people around the country, even those who may not be on board on everything, keep them in the loop. So, yes, he can give speeches to the base, but he's also got to reach out on a greater effort to independents and even Democrats who are saying, hey, something good is happening here. Let's cool the temperature a little bit.
Well, speaking of messaging, I want to switch gears to Iran because you, back during the Reagan administration, you were chair of a board that was responsible for Radio Free Europe, for Radio Liberty, for some very important outlets that sent messages behind the Iron Curtain, had a tremendous effect on the dissidents in Eastern Europe and Russia. They now say that were it not for these organizations, these messaging services, they wouldn't have had the success they did in creating the downfall of the Soviet Union. Can we do the same in Iran?
The answer is yes. Winning the battle of ideas you can do on a day-to-day basis, as we did during the Cold War. Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty acted as if they're radio stations inside those communist countries. Voice of America talked about America and the U.S. government. And so we should do the same today. Now, these organizations still exist, but they're a fraction of what they should be.
And media, of course, has changed dramatically.
And this is where you can do it, not just through traditional radio, TV,
right,
but Internet. They have very few Internet programs at Voice of America.
Well, and particularly now, as
Radio Liberty,
where the government of Iran is trying to do everything they can to block social media for the dissidents because they want to prevent it from spreading.
In the old days with radio, they tried to do jamming, so you work around it. We can win that kind of technology race in terms of getting messaging through, and the very fact that we're making the effort will buck up the dissidents inside. We're behind you. We're willing to help you out.
To do that, don't we need the support of Silicon Valley? Don't we need a public-private partnership? And is that possible, given all the antagonisms?
Yes, I think if the administration reached out and the congressional leaders reached out on both sides and said that we got to get our democracy message through, just as we did during the Cold War, we can win what you might call a soft peace. Remember, the amazing thing about the Cold War is the Soviet Union collapsed without a shot being fired.
It is amazing.
And so Iran, sadly, that's not going to be the case. But if the dissidents know that we're there, we're going to buck them up. We're not going to wash our hands of them as we did with Barack Obama in 2009 and betray them. They could overthrow this regime ultimately because the army may turn against the regime when they see this regime is going nowhere.
Steve Forbes, thank you very much. Great
Thank
to
you.
see you.